Hello everybody, this is Sherry at djsundry.blogspot.com, and you know, just because it's December doesn't mean that there aren't any birthdays. In fact, today, the day that I'm originally taping this video, I have 4 birthdays today. So I have a lot of birthday cards to do, and several of them throughout the rest of the month. So I thought I better get started on some birthday cards besides my Christmas projects. So the card that I'm making today is very super simple. So let me show you what I'm going to be using. From Basic Gray, I'm going to be using this Shine On paper pad. This is a 6x6 pad. I'm going to be using my Close to My Heart Gold Rush ink set. I'm going to be using my 3 Girl Jam Sunflower Ribbon. I have these old Alphabetis that I'm using a couple of numbers from. From Basic Gray, I'm also using the Small Details from Life of the Party, and I've already pulled off the one that I wanted, and I'll show you that in a minute. I'm using this Happy Birthday from Stampendous, and this is from the Happy Messages stamp set. And I've already done some of the prep work on this. Like I said, this is a really super simple card. Now the person that I'm making it for is turning 21, and she is really excited about her birthday. Now, by the time you see this posted, she will already have it because she knows that she's turning 21 this month. So what I did, she also, at least when she was younger, I'm hoping she still does, really liked yellow. It was one of her favorite colors. I'm hoping it still is, because that was what I based off the theme of this card. Now I went into my scrap stash, because I always check there first, because you never know, sometimes you may have a larger piece of paper, and I did. This must have originally been a 12x12 sheet, but I'm using the I cut it down to where it's 4 1/4 inches wide by 11 inches tall, and I've scored it at 5 1/2 inches to form a normal A2 size card. So now I want to ink up the back stamp, because I forgot to do that before, and this is just my personal stamp that I put on, and I just want to get that stamped on so that that is done and out of the way. Now these stamps from Close to My Heart are pigment stamps, so I am going to have to let that dry a little bit. So I think what I will do is I will just set that aside. I think I can work on the front, at least some of the front of the card, before doing it on that, before attaching it to the base. So I chose 2 papers from the Shine On stack. I chose this fun cupcake print, and I know I've said this before many times, but I really like to use small bits of paper when possible so that I can save it for other projects. And so I also use this yellow polka dot, and I've already cut them. Now the first one, this is the yellow polka dot, and I've cut it at 4 1/8 inches wide, because I just want a very, very narrow border of the yellow. And I've inked all the way around it with the Gold Rush, because that's the color that I'm using to tie everything in. I've also inked around the front of my card here with the Gold Rush as well. And then I cut this piece of paper that is at 2 inches wide, and again it's at the 4 1/4. I'm sorry, 4 1/8, and I'm just going to adhere that to the bottom. Super, super simple. That's the kind of cards I like to do, especially when I'm in such a time crunch, as I know all of you are as well, with it being the holidays. And I'm putting this all the way at the bottom. I don't want any of the polka dot shining through. Now I could have just cut a smaller piece of the polka dot and even save myself some more paper. Frankly, I didn't think of it, or I probably would have, but it will also provide the stability. Now I am corner rounding just the bottom corners of this, as I will also do to the card. And I think I can go ahead and do that right now. Now, because I've already inked around the edges, I will need to go back and re-ink around the edges of the corners, because well, that's not going to do any good, because I obviously would have marked some of that off. Just like that. And then the same here, just around the corners, just to pick up that little bit that I've already chopped off there. Okay, now the next step that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking my 3 Girl Jam ribbon here. And to start with, I don't plan on tying a bow. I may come back later and tie a bow. I haven't decided yet. But for now, I'm just going to just get just enough of it to cover the front and bring it around to the back. And if I decide I want to add a bow, I'll do that later. So we're just going to tape that to the back. I am going to leave a little bit of give in it. I don't want to lose the crinkliness, if that's even a word, of my crinkle ribbon. And then I'll just scotch tape that down just like so. And I don't know what I did here. Sorry about that. Had a piece of tape on my dispenser that came off. Now before I do the front, before I tape down the second side, I need to make sure it's in the right place. And again, I'm going to leave it just a little bit, well, I need to do it tight enough that it will hold, but loose enough that I don't lose my crinkle. All right, and then we'll put that in the back. There we go. And this is going to go on our card. Now I'm going to have to be kind of careful here because I do not have much margin to play with. So I want to be sure that I get it as straight as I possibly can, and using the ATG, once it's down, it's pretty much down. And there's the front of my card. That's a little bit off, but it's okay. Okay, so now I have my little sticker here. This is the cardboard. These are kind of a chipboard type sticker embellishment that I pulled from that basic gray pack. And then you can just barely see it subtly, but I have a 21 that I've done here that I was going to just hang off the top, but I think I am going to grab my 3 Girl bow maker. And let's see, let's do a multiple loop bow like that. Let's go ahead and give her a bow. You only turn 21 once, right? What did I do? I think I cut that wrong. Sorry about that. I think this was the first time I'd made a bow. I don't make a lot of multi-loop bows. It's just really not my thing. I do make a few, but not very often. But I'm going to for this one. And this bow maker really is easy to use. I'm just a bit challenged tonight, I guess you'd say. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I don't know what my problem is tonight. I can't even think to use a bow. I just ended up just making a simple 2-loop bow, easy. I have a glue dot here that I'm just going to roll and put behind the glue because I don't want to use any wet glue on this particular one. And we will just put this little guy right there on the front. Now, this will cost me extra postage to mail. Just be aware. Anytime you add dimension to a card, just plan on adding postage because otherwise your card may just possibly come back to you. That's just the nature of how it works. And you want your cards to get to your people, not come back to you. Okay, so now I'm going to just put this little 21 almost like it's hanging off the bow, even though it's really not. I'm going to put it just below it, just like that, just to add some interest there. So now we've got our 21, and you could almost just leave the card like that, but I'm not going to. I do have a happy birthday sentiment, and I didn't even measure it. I suppose it's about 3.5 inches wide by 1 3/4 about inches tall. I just eyeballed it to make it fit my card, and I'm just going to set or just tape that down. I could use foam tape if I wanted to. I think this card already has enough dimension, so I'm just going to go with it like it is and tape that down. Happy birthday. Now you know me and how I like to try to always finish off the inside of the card, and so I think what I'm going to do is how shall I do this? Maybe what I'll do is just attach these two pieces together. I mean, you only turn 21 once, right? All right, so I'm going to attach those two together and pull out my paper edger. And I didn't even measure that side. Oh, that's about a perfect fit. Let's see. Looks like I've got about a quarter. Let's go with 4 and see how it works. I may trim it down just a little bit more. Oh yeah, I'm going to want to trim it down. Let's go 3 3/4 inches wide. And I'll just tape that down. Now, obviously, I won't be able to work on or write on that to leave my message, but that's okay because I have a solution for that too. And I'm not even going to ink around this one this time, nor am I going to corner around it. I'm just going to put it in there. We have different shapes and textures. Now I have this leftover scrap piece and I don't want to use it all. You know, I think I'll just make it fit on the top one. So let's go about 3.5 inches. We'll just kind of play with it and see how far we want to go with it. Because I don't need a lot of room for my sentiment. In fact, let's go 3 1/4 inches. Now, remember, as far as this yellow piece goes, I'm just using scraps here. And then let's, you know what, let's start with 3 1/4 inches square and just see how it works out. Probably, yes, I would have saved myself some time if I had just cut it, but I really wasn't planning on doing it quite like this. There we go. That'll work. And just tape that down, and then we have a journaling spot with it just out of another piece of scrap. Then I can just write my message to the recipient, send it all, and we're all done. There we go. So thanks for stopping by today for this 21st birthday card, and remember to take some time to enjoy the little things. Have a great day. Bye.